Hello there, welcome back. Today I thought I would have a little play with the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour foundation. Now this, blinding you there. This is a hybrid powder foundation and it says it is a matte look weightless finish. So I've done my eye makeup on a different video and I thought I would give this a little look today. But if you do like this type of video and you do like all things makeup and reviews and all that type of thing, then don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, all of that jazz. Because we love it. So my skin is super dry at the moment, like really dry, so it'd be very interesting to see how this goes. So that is the foundation there, and I have picked up the shade 21, which I think will be okay. It might be a little bit dark, so I'm going to go in with quite a hydrating primer because my skin is super dry, and I generally tend to do that with powder foundations if I'm a little bit dry. So I'm going in with the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I've already cleansed, toned, moisturised, serum, anything else I can justify putting on my face has gone on my face. It's just literally my forehead here is so dry, and I just would be interested to see how the foundation kind of clings to that dry skin. Because I have no doubt it will, and I will try it again once I have more hydrated skin, better skin. I don't know why it's so dry at the moment. I mean, I've got like a spot here as well. So I'm gonna conceal first. I'm gonna do liquid products first, and then we're gonna jump into it. So first I'm gonna spot conceal a little bit because I have got quite a few spots with my NARS Soft Matte Concealer, and I need a brush. So I'm just gonna take that on a little brush, and I'm going to do some around my nose because I have got some veins. I'm going to zoom you in a bit as well. Let's get up close and personal. I'm just so spotty at the moment. I've never ever like suffered with any type of real acne, and I really do feel like I'm paying for it now. And I'm just going to bounce that in with my Cosmetics Chloe sponge. Okay, so some spots I've covered up. And I'm going to go in with my Juvia's Place concealer, and this is in the shade 22. So these are all products that I know work well. Oh, I've got a little bit overboard on the old concealer on the other side there. I'm just going to do a little bit on the end of my nose. And I'm going to bounce that in as well. So I definitely have had some kind of a hormone shift, which is 100% causing me for my skin to change completely. Whether it's because I'm well into my 40s now, I've just turned 43, and it's a hormonal change that's causing this, I don't know, but I am trying all different types of products and all different combinations to try and find out what works best with my skin. I am quite lucky in the fact that I have got an extensive makeup collection and I can do this. I've got that luxury. Okay, so I'm going to set that one dry as well before I do the foundation. I'm going to take my Laura Mercier translucent powder foundation, and I'm going to take that on my LH Cosmetics puff, and I'm not going to do any cream, bronzer or anything like that because I really want to see how the products go on top of the foundation. I may do another video with them underneath, but if it's as full coverage as they say, if I put anything underneath it, it's going to be covered up. And I'm just going to sweep any excess away. Okay, I have seen people try this with a sponge, and I have seen people try this with a brush. So I think I'm going to go in with my little puff to start with. I'm just going to wipe off the powder that I had on it. And I'm a bit nervous. I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit nervous. Okay, it doesn't seem like really powdery or anything. I've just done a couple of swirls and... Okay, that's a bit orange. It's definitely not my colour. Let's pat it in. Swiping is not working for me. It's definitely got a fair bit of coverage. Definitely a bit orange. It's definitely very orange. It doesn't look that orange in the pan. It's going on a lot more orange than it is. I have always kind of like gravitated towards really paler foundations, but they're just not working. I'm going to take a brush. I'm going to take this Beauty Wet Bake It Off brush. I'm just going to swipe some in there and pat that on. That's nicer. That is a lot less heavy. and it looks a lot less orange. It's not going great on top of the concealer. I'm going to try and brush some excess off this side because it is like too much. And it is full coverage. It's very, very dry on my skin, super dry. But it doesn't look too bad. I do much prefer it with a brush. I feel like it's a lot less heavy with a brush. Okay, my forehead now. I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do a sponge on this part because it's literally at the whole middle of my forehead. Okay, that doesn't seem to be like clinging to anything. You see how orange it is? And then I'm gonna do a brush. Okay, it does seem to cling there. Definitely prefer the finish of a brush because there's a lot less product involved. I think if you want like super full coverage and you have got a kind of oilier or normal skin type, then I think it's going to work for you. But I think for dry skin, it's alright. I think you're better off with a brush rather than a puff for dry skin. Because it has gone on far too full on that side. Gotta get the colour right. That does not look, it looks really, really orange on my skin. I'm just gonna get a smaller brush and kind of do in between my eyes and around my nose. I think I'm just gonna use that smaller brush to try and blend it into the concealer because that's not blending well either. I look like I've got a very, very bright under eyes. But I did go for, it's not like a really bright concealer though. Yeah, I am definitely preferring the finish with the brush rather than the puff. The puff is just too much, it's just too much for me. I mean, it's covered everything, even with the brush and the lighter coverage, it's covered everything. And I do feel like with the brush, the colour does look much more like it suits me than with the puff. I think with the puff, because it's gone on so heavy, that is why it looks super orange. I don't know if you can see that difference now that I've kind of diffused that a little bit. But with the puff, if you want a full coverage, use the puff, use the sponge. If you want something that's a little bit lighter, definitely go in with the brush. But for me, I am much preferring the finish with the brush at the moment as well though, because obviously I've got that dry skin and it's not clinging to it like super bad or anything like that. It doesn't look particularly bad, so that's a good sign. It depends whether it does it later on, but we shall see. Okay, so I definitely do think you've got to get your colour right or you are going to look a little bit orange. It isn't clinging too much to dry patches. I've got the main dry patch I've got is here. It's not really clinging that much. I feel like it's settling into a nice foundation. I do feel like you've got the worry that it is going to set into any fine lines you've got in your face with it being a powder foundation. But it feels nice. It doesn't feel too much, doesn't feel too heavy. It looks okay. This side, I feel like where I've put on with the puff, there's a lot more, you can see a lot more pores and things like that, rather on this side where I've put on with a brush. So I definitely do think I am going to be putting it on with a brush rather than a puff. But I'm going to go in with some other products on top. And I'm going to go in with my Maybelline City Bronzer. And this is the shade Medium Noir. And we're just gonna see how that goes on top of it. I mean, it should go well because they're both Maybelline products, but you never know. So I'm just gonna pat that down. Do a little bit on the jawline, you know, get rid of them jowls a little bit. Okay, so that's quite nice. On top, put a little bit on my nose, just bronze up my nose slightly. Okay, it's not like clinging to any dry patches. It's reacting quite well with the foundation, which it should do because they are both from the same company or the same brand. whichever way you want to say that. And I'm just going to put a bit on my forehead, which is the Test. Okay, it's not like pulling any product off, which is good. I feel like I've got a permanent frown at the moment. Yeah, it's not pulling any products off or anything. That's quite nice. I'm going to go in with blusher now and just see how that kind of reacts with the foundation. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my Collection, Natural Collection powder blusher, and this is in the shade Rosy Glow, and it is quite a pigmented blusher. I'm just gonna lightly, I'm gonna start off very, very lightly, hoping that it doesn't pull the product off. Obviously I'm going to try it with different primers and things as well, but you know, it's doing well. Is it the viral smash that everyone said it was? No, I don't think it is for me, but for you it might be. All thoughts and opinions are my own. Okay, that's not too bad. I might blush my nose as well because why not? See, it doesn't look as orange now on this side that had the puff on. Now we've put some other products on, and obviously I did try and take a little bit of excess off with the brush as well, but definitely doesn't look as orange. Definitely off camera it doesn't look as orange. Okay, it's doing well. It's not too bad. I'm just gonna bronze a little bit more as well because, you know, I love it. Just deepen that up a little bit there. That looks nice. They look nice together. Both performed very well together. Okay, and because every other product I've put on is affordable, I'm going to go with my Primark Diamond highlighter. And this is in the shade, just Diamond I think, Pink Diamond. And I'm just going to highlight up my face. Okay, that's not pulling anything off, not pulling any products off. Oh, it has on the end of my nose though. But it's separating on the end of my nose. Weird. I am kind of like suffering with spots at the end of my nose. Okay, that's kind of sorted that out. That's better. Can't be the concealer because it's not separated anywhere else with the concealer. I mean, I put concealer here, it's not separated. I put it on my chin, it's not separated. Here. So I don't think that's the concealer. That seems to have worked now. It started to separate slightly. Okay. I do like it. Is it as good as everyone's making out? Not for me, no. Maybe on younger skin, less mature skin, less dry skin. It's not clinging to anything. I've said it at least 60,000 times in this video. It's not clinging onto any of my dry patches, and I can actually feel how dry my skin is. Like here and here, I can really feel how dry the skin is. It's not clinging to it, but I'm gonna throw some lips on, and then we're gonna talk about this foundation a little bit more. Okay, so this is what the foundation looks like with lips on and hair brushed. I do actually quite like it. I know it doesn't sound like I do, but I do actually quite like the foundation, like the finish, and like the convenience of it. I'm not putting foundation on then having to set it down. It's just done. You know, I do like the convenience of that. Is it the sensation that everybody says it is? For me it's not, no. It's something that I'll probably use up and never buy again. It's a fad. It's not something that I'm going to gravitate towards, I don't think. I definitely do prefer it with a brush. Said it 1,000 times. 100% prefer the product with a brush. It didn't work for me with a puff. It went on too thick and it went on too orange. The colour is not a bad match for me. If I don't put it on too thick, put it on thick, it really went orange. And I found the foundation right here. So it does say that it is a matte coverage foundation as well, which I do like. I do like a matte finish. However, I don't feel like it is overly matte, which is another thing I do like about it. It does say it's got up to 24-hour coverage. You get this little shit sponge in there, and you do get a mirror in it, which I quite like. So, you know, it is an affordable foundation. You can throw it in your bag and have a little mirror with it and just use it to top up during the day. I don't generally top up during the day, but you know, some people do. Well, for me, once my foundation is on and my products are on, they're generally on, unless I'm going somewhere where I'm going to be out for a lot of time and I probably will have to top up. But if it's just in the office during the day, then I don't bother. Once it's on, it's on. The other products did perform quite well on top of it. The bronzer, which was a Maybelline bronzer, looked really good. Blusher, highlighter did separate on the end of my nose a little bit. I don't know why. It is now not separating on the end of my nose. Looks fine now, whereas before it did separate a bit, which, you know, probably wasn't great, but we sorted it and it's fine. I am going to try it with other primers. I did try it with like the vitamin enriched face base by Bobbi Brown, which is a very, very moisturising primer because I've got very dry skin. Is it okay for dry skin? It's okay. I have got dry patches. I don't suffer entirely with dry skin. It is just very dry at the moment. It may change as the seasons change. You know, when it comes to summer, it may be a foundation that I do gravitate towards more because I want something that's gonna not gonna let them oils come through. But those are my thoughts on this viral foundation. Is it worth the money? If you've got the right skin type for it, then yeah. It's an affordable foundation, it's not costing the earth, so yeah, if you want to try it, then go for it. You know, I recommend it in that way, as an affordable foundation. Is it the viral sensation that everyone's saying? I don't think so. I think it's just a fad, to be honest with you. It was very much like the Maybelline Infallible Powder Foundation from a few years ago, which I initially didn't get on with, and then kind of learned how to use the foundation in a better way. So it's all about trial and error. But if you like this video, then don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, all that stuff, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye!